Alright, hey guys, today we're out here and we're going to build a shelf to put my computer on. A little bit different from what we normally do, but let's head on over. Alright, so here we're looking at my monitor setup and I have my computer over to the right. That's where we're going to be putting the shelf behind that third monitor. We're going to be moving it so I have more room on my table for my 3D printer. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so here's our schematics for the shelf. We have a 24-inch long board by 7. And then 16-inch legs that are 2x2 long. We need 6 foot of those, and that should be it. Should be a pretty quick project. All right, so we're gonna measure out this lumber and see if what we got is what we need. And right now we need 6 foot of the 2x2, and it looks like we're well over on that. And then this should be 7 by 4 feet. A little over 7, which will be fine, and this is a little over 4 feet, so that'll be all right. So next step is to line up the marks on each board where we want to cut them and send them through the saw. All right, so we need to cut these to 16 inches each. So I'm gonna actually just lop off a piece on the end to straighten this cut out. Now we end up with a nice, clean, straight cut on the end. Put the tape measure down. Put the square on here. We're going to cut this to 16 inches. Now, since the left side of the saw is where we want to keep, we will line up the left side of the teeth with the edge we want to cut so that the kerf of the blade doesn't overcut and we get with the piece that we want. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing, but we need 4 of these for 4 legs. So I'm actually just going to line these up. Use something square on the end to hold it square. Slide this until we meet the end of this. Tighten that down. Slide that out of there. Exactly the same length. Now we end up with 4 blocks that are very much the same length for our legs. Alright, so now we're going to measure out the top plate that my computer is actually going to sit on. And this is going to be 24 inches long. We're going to pull our tape measure out to 24 inches. Make sure it stays down. Pull that right here. This is not too much of a critical dimension because it's still oversized for my computer anyway. So let's see if it'll fit on this saw. Alright, so it's not the best of setups, but we might be able to cut this in one shot, maybe two. We might have to flip the board over after the first cut. Let's try it out. I actually left this with a very straight cut, and this piece looks like it's going to work. Just needs a little sanding on the edge. Alright, so I have one of these little sanding blocks. Just knock off the sharp edges here. So I think we'll do the same thing to these legs a little bit because they're kind of rough looking. I think we'll see if we can get anything out of them. Looks a little better. So now I'm going to hold this down, mark it, and drill the corner holes. Pre-drill the corner holes, I should say. Alright, now the only thing left to do is assemble it. Now when we drop our screws in, they go in with slight resistance, and then they just spin so that they can thread into here, and this will be our locating. Alright, so we had a minor fuck up. Just have to switch to these longer screws to get a little bit more bite into the wood since this wood is so soft. Shouldn't matter because they're in compression, so I'm not too worried about it. So now that's solid in there. There's two of the legs done. Let's get the other two. Alright, so there we are, 3 legs. Perfect. Zoom this out. We can get the 4th one in. You guys can see that too. So the reason why I'm going all the way down with the big screw and letting it tear up the hole is because I want the hole on the top board to just be a pass-through hole, and I don't feel like re-drilling them. And the easiest way to do it is to just drive a screw through it and let it set itself. Let's see if neither of these are very straight. These kind of stick off a little bit. I might just drill a new hole for this one. Alright, so now we got our 4 legs. It's stable. It's not on exactly a flat surface, but they're equal length. And now we can go install it. On to the next step. Alright, so remember what it looked like before. My computer was over here. Pushed it up, and now we got it on the shelf. Pretty solid in place. Now my desk is cleared to put the 3D printer on. Alright, thanks for watching, everyone. Remember, this is a project that I just made using parts that I had laying around my house during this whole COVID-19 fiasco. So hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next one.